When last we left off, after narrowly escaping the abyss with the celestial angel Illyra, Corde, a battered Hellguard, crash-landed in the Smaragd Mare. Alone, exhausted, and with only one hit point to his name, his first encounter in this unknown land is unexpectedly fierce, a hostile teacup Pegasus, who's seemingly acting under the orders of an unknown master. In a dangerous fight, despite his injuries, Corde slew the creature with a single eldritch blast, but gained no clue to its origin before its remains vanish. Clad only in scorched rags at best, he sets his sights on a nearby village to steal clothes and supplies, unaware of the new dangers awaiting him. Hello, Daring Dice Rollers, and welcome to The Devil in the Details. If you're new, I suggest starting at Episode 1 to get the full story, and Episode 0 for a full rundown of the setup of the campaign itself. Or you can stick with me here and catch up. I'm sure you're super smart. I've tried to keep sessions and videos at around the 10-minute mark to make the videos easily digestible. As we go on, there's less rules to explain and more story to open up, so expect videos to maybe get longer as a result. Don't worry though, I won't be uploading hour-long videos. Second, there are some mild content warnings that include physical restraint, fantasy violence, war themes, threats, mildly unsettling imagery, smoking, and references to death. Finally, roll on or whatever. On with the show! With Corde naked at one hit point and exhausted, it's a wonder he hasn't been killed in the Smaragd Mare so far. Regardless, he's happened upon a village in the dense forest near some mountains. I don't know if we're at a scene just quite yet, so I'm going to hold off on rolling that until Corde gets into some tense situation. I also don't know anything about the village beyond its location, so let's roll on the meaning table's elements of city descriptors for some ideas. We'll roll 1d100 twice and interpret both results to get a general vibe of the village. With the results that we got, they give us industry and rare. Okay, so this village is industrious with rare materials, perhaps? Or maybe it's a rare village with industrial denizens. Or is it industrious because the denizens are rare? I feel like we're at a crossroads. We could ask Fate about the villagers, the purpose of the village, or even roll another meaning table, but I'm eager to see the village, and I already have a bit of an idea. Corde attempts to sneak up to a nearby shack of the village. He crouches low and sticks to the shadows that cling to his form like tentacles of a sea creature. They wrap around and down his back in a cloak of darkness. He reaches the first structure, a wooden shack, breathing heavily. Exhaustion is working against him, but he presses onward and peers around the corner.
Wait! Corde! They don't know. They don't know the secrets. So, come, my friends, to the world map. This is the Fairmore Empire.
It can be thought of as a pretty typical empire. It's in a state of aggressive expansion presently, and that means the Aetherian Circle, where many fae or other extraplanar creatures live, are pushing back against the Empire. It's a real civilization versus nature conflict. Further, the Aetherian Circle has been known to conduct raids, steal, pillage, and whatever else they want and can do to keep the Fairmore Empire from completely expanding outward. Though there is no official war with the Aetherian Circle, they certainly aren't allies. Okay, back to the game. I know that the denizens of this village are rare and the village is industrious, but I do want to know how they're industrious. So I'm going to ask Fate with a nearly certain probability, does this village provide mystical lumber for the Empire? I got a 76 and I was looking for below an 85. Now I asked that question because I know, based on the world I've created, that the Aetherian Circle is west of those mountains. With the Aetherian Circle holding many fae or extraplanar creatures, I guess that's why a teacup Pegasus was here. They're fae too. So it stands to reason that the village would be chopping down these trees for rare lumber for the Empire. We might learn more about this lumber eventually. It really depends on if Corde really cares. Corde isn't really worried about people right now. He primarily wants gear to survive. So he's going to look in the window of this little shack to try to get something useful as he's butt naked in the forest. Now, I can't really decide on the difficulty, so I rolled a d6 and got the very hard difficulty, and then a 4 for a DC 24. Yikes. Okay, he's going to try to investigate to look for gear. He rolled a 17, but with exhaustion, that's a 15. At this point, I need to think about how the scene will start. My expectation is Corde happening upon this small village and sneaking into an inhabited shack to get some gear, and that is just what we get. Corde slowly investigates for signs of life, but primarily gear, in the shack. He sees wood, a shelf, a cabinet full of weapons, and then he sees the trouble. A woman kneels over a glowing rune. It pulses with this purple energy that casts long shadows across the floorboards. Corde squints, trying to recognize the spell to no avail. He's never had to cast a spell like this, never done a ritual of this kind. Even if he had, he felt something off about the air and the material plane. The magic here felt different. Behind the person, Corde spots clothes, perhaps even some that might fit him. Another pulse of energy surges out from this person. It lingers in the vicinity, like a film over every object. Corde feels that very same film over his body. It's like a heavy coat thrown around him. It almost feels like he sinks into the ground before he starts to move. It takes even more force than usual to move his leg. Something in the air slows him, holds him down as if time itself was revolting against him. Just as he tries to open the window, he hears something from behind. Footsteps. They're on him too fast before he can react. Even if he could, it'd be a sluggish reaction. He readies to bare his teeth, to threaten, to scold, to fight, only for a fist to block his vision. He slumps to the floor. The water dripping onto his face wakes him up. The moons are high overhead, yet the land is silent. He coughs, blinking the fog from his sight as he looks around. It's a derelict house, walls caved in and roof exposing several large portions of the night sky. The 3 moons of Apiron shine bright overhead, like spotlights down onto this naked devil. His hands are tied behind his back, sitting on the ground, tied to a wooden pillar in the building.
I wouldn't,
A heavy voice says in the darkness.
It will only worsen your wounds.
A large creature, almost as big as a Balgura, lumbers into view. He has a clean, white-collared shirt with red suspenders and beautiful green eyes, sitting on the face of a boar. Their tusks curve up from their face in a bone white. The boar man takes a long puff from a cigar and taps the ash out.
How'd you get through the frame?
He asks, hooking a thumb under one suspender.
You gotta be naked to do it?
Corde coughs.
Release me, vile creature, and perhaps you won't see worse wounds. What are you gonna do, huh? Even if you pull off an act of God and kill me.
He leans down, eye level with Corde.
There's no way to run from here.
Corde squints and looks around. He's rolling insight to see if the boar man is telling the truth. He got a 7. Corde is not having an easy go at things. The darkness shrouding the boar man's face and the exhaustion wearing on Corde make it hard for Corde to determine and discern any truth from deceit. Yet, the way he felt when the spell was cast leads him to believe the boar man in some sense.
Where am I?
Corde asks.
Where is here? Ho ho ho! You don't know? The boar man slaps their belly. What, you fall out of the sky or something and just wandered here?
Yes. The boar man leans down again. Doesn't look like he believes Corde, and blows smoke into Corde's face.
You're on private property of the Fairmore Empire. Trespassing, no less. But it just so happens I have the perfect place to put you for your crimes. Grey Mirror Keep.
Corde looks up into their eyes with a clear look of confusion.
Is that supposed to mean something? What?
He tilts his head.
What do you mean, is that supposed to mean something?
I mean, is that supposed to mean something?
It's Grey Mirror Keep,
he shouts.
Everyone knows Grey Mirror Keep.
Clearly not. Corde is going to try to keep the boar man talking while he tries to slip out of his restraints. I think it's moderately difficult, and with the D6 roll, the DC is 13.
He rolled a dirty 20. Let's go! It's the place everyone fears, the boar man says, shaking his head. Where names are forgotten, where stone and iron are your only friends. Who doesn't know Grey Mirror Keep?
While the boar man talks, Corde wriggles his hands out of the rope restraints. They fall slowly, but with a thud. However, Corde doesn't move. Instead, he waits, just until the boar man is looking away.
Father said to get anyone looking for Grey Mirror. Sister put up the frame, he rambles. No one should be able to.
In that moment, Corde bolts up and scans for a weapon, before leaping through an open portion of the wall into the brisk night air. The boar man shouts out for Corde to wait.
Wait!
There are several huts, all nearly destroyed or in ruin. Corde pants, still looking exhausted, as he looks at a bit of scaffolding on one of the taller buildings.
That'll do nicely.
He ducks into it, hiding behind crates, barrels, and rope. The boar man runs out of the house, a torch in hand, looking up and down the path Corde just ran along. The boar man looks left, looks right, and heads in a direction away from Corde.
That was close.
Finding this as good a place of any, falls asleep for a short rest of 8 hours. The boar man rolled a 5 on their survival check to look for tracks, so Corde is safe with their 13 stealth check. It's not an ideal spot for him to sleep, but it's got some cushion and he desperately needs the rest. He takes the short rest and heals 2 HP, bringing him to 3 out of 7. I'm testing the expected scene of Corde waking up and seeing several animalistic humanoids working the destroyed town. We get an interrupted scene and an ambiguous event. This means something happens not directly related to the current scene that's neither helpful nor harmful. It may not even make sense right now. I think that's fine. This is just a chance to do what I do at TTRPGs at my table, which are vignettes, or a chance to see another part or time of the world as a player, not the character. So we're going to ask Fate if the focus of the vignette is a character from our character list. It's a 50-50 on the likelihood. We got a yes. So I'll roll to see if we get a vignette of Misery, the Lord of the First, Zariel, Lyra, the Smaragd Mare, or the Pegasus Keeper. Uh-oh. I rolled, and it is Misery, the Hellguard compatriot of Corde's. I also rolled on the descriptions to kind of help give me some sort of tone or idea that this scene could be, and I rolled positively and historical. We hear screams and flames before we see them. They're muffled, as if behind walls, as we see a creature in sharp, dark armor walking along corridor. They walk with trepidation, as if they don't know that which they walk into. Several small, winged creatures fly overhead, laughing. Their scorpion tails give away that they're imps. The head of a skulven in their arms is an indication of their previous location, the Blood War. Still, the figure marches forward until they reach large basalt double doors that are big enough for a mountain to walk through. The person doesn't raise their hand to knock. Instead, the door shifts with something just below the surface. A face presses up from the metal, like it lies beneath a bed sheet, and groans before speaking in infernal.
The first fist will see you.
It groans, receding back into the metal door as before. He walks forward while the doors open, revealing a magnificent throne room of stone and fire. More imps hover overhead, laughing maniacally as they gamble on the chandeliers. Go fish! One giggles, only to be slapped by another. Straight ahead, following the rug that runs the corridor prior, we see a regal throne of gray stone and newly smelted gold that drips like candle wax. But it's empty. The person looks to the left, spots several squidges hastily putting artwork up, polishing silverware, pouring drinks, and sneaking bites of flesh from the food. They wear aprons, frayed petticoats, and flamboyant ties around their necks as they work. Join us, a harsh voice breaks through the observations of the guest. And tell us of your mission. It is the Lord of the First Fist, the Archduchess of Avernus herself, Zariel, yet we dare not speak her name out loud. She stands behind a circular table with an obsidian knife in her hand. Next to her is a Spinagon, hunched over, wearing spectacles and holding a cane. On the table is the ever-changing model of the Abyss. It hurts the person's eyes to even look at such a model. It's warped in on itself, folded, undulating, grown and shrinking in ways he didn't think was possible. He walks over and stands at attention. What news? The Lord of the First says, leaning on the table with both her hands. The person removes their helmet and we see the green-skinned devil, Misery of the Hellguard. They are relentless, but we hold the bulk back. We lost many. Zariel waves her hand, as if to get to the point. We thought second squad was lost completely, but we were wrong. He falters for but a moment, a hand reaching up to the bandaged left eye that still bleeds. We found second squad's leader. He had survived the changes of the Abyss, slain many. Those they slew, they did not rise again. They killed with finality. The Spinagon laughs. Such tall tales. You would think him an Abashai. They do not stay dead, Hellguard. These ones did. Misery barks back. Their bodies lay in our hands still. You hold a bomb ready to go off near our lord's home? I'll hold your tongue, you quiet, Zariel says, squinting at the model of the Abyss. It's then we see small representations of soldiers marching on one of the layers. An almost live feed of the Blood War. Where is second squad's captain? If what you say is true, you all should be rewarded, no? Aye. Where is Corde? We linger on just the eyes. One wounded of Misery. Their wound from finding Corde is still fresh on their face and in their heart. We don't hear his response, but we can only assume he tells the Lord of the First the truth. The truth that Corde has become a turncoat, not for the Abyss, but for the celestial heavens, the same place the Lord of the First was from, and that Corde resided now in the material plane. This feels like the best spot to end today's session. Let's end with some bookkeeping. We'll need to add the Boar-man to the character list. I rolled on the names meaning table and ended up with the naming of Tarag, or Tarach, I don't know. Not really sure if I like it, but we'll keep it for now. I went ahead and made their character sheet as an NPC just in case. Now I could add the town to the characters list, but I don't think that's super important right now as we're still exploring it. Additionally, Corde was not in control this session, so I'm bumping the chaos factor to 6. Finally, experience points. He gets a named location, though he doesn't know the name just quite yet. So that's 25 XP. And he escaped the social encounter, so he would normally get 50 XP, but it was more a tactical retreat than overcoming, so I'll bump it down a bit for a total XP this session of 65. He's almost halfway to level 2. He'll need it, trust me. That concludes this session of The Devil in the Details. Join us next time for session 4. Frame and Misfortune. Please feel free to like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, enable notifications to be alerted when I upload a new video, and comment below what you think this campaign should be called overall. I'm at a loss for potential names, but I'm a sucker for puns. Thank you so much for joining me on this adventure, and remember, the devil is in the details.